Hi, welcome to the Diablo Podcast. I am your host, Flux, and we are online at DiabloPodcast.com. In this episode, we're talking about paid features, or we're speculating about paid features in Diablo 3. And I am talking to the Eliminator.
Salutations.
And DiablosMinion.
How's it going?
We're getting so good at that. We're almost like professionals now. You guys need catchphrases. You'd be like, hey! Or you could be like, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha! You know, something like that.
Yeah, I think your viewer or your listenership would go down if we started doing that.
Who knows?
You kidding?
So, you wanted to talk about paid features, Eliminator.
Yes. I think one thing that everybody will probably start burning down buildings as soon as they start hearing this. Paid features? I thought Diablo 3 was supposed to be free.
Well, only via Pirate Bay. Otherwise, you have to pay $60.
Yeah.
But they haven't actually said anything about what the paid features, what the non-paid features will be, or even the online stuff in D3. We're kind of assuming they basically have said what they said about StarCraft 2 before it launched, that there will be some form of free play over Battle.net out of the box, at least for those of us living in the U.S. and most of Europe. But They haven't made any guarantees. They haven't, it doesn't sound like they're going to be doing, some sort of multiple tiers of subscriptions or anything. What kind of coverage are you expecting, Eliminator?
I'm thinking that they might do something very similar to what they have in WoW is,
$15 a month?
Well, no, I'm talking about the Android app or the iPhone app where you can get access to, guild chat and the auction house and stuff. I'm thinking it would be somewhat similar to that, but maybe also other things I'm also thinking about they might go ahead and do.
Does that cost money in World of Warcraft?
It's $3 a month.
A minute or a month?
A month.
Okay, that's not so bad.
For the app.
Do they have sexy Night Elf chat for $3 a minute? That's pretty cool. That's only on the pay sites.
Yeah, you have to close your eyes though, because if you open them up, you realize it's just a guy.
It's got the Night Elf voice though.
Yeah.
I don't think you want video chat with your sexy Night Elf, frankly. So I was thinking more in terms of what do you expect to see from just basic Diablo 3 over Battle.net? How is that going to vary from Diablo 2 over Battle.net? More, better, less?
Personally, I think they're going to have your standard multiplayer options for the Battle.net.
For $3 a month. No, of course not. It'll be free.
No, those will be free. Yeah.
What do you think, DM? Are you expecting any big changes for BNet D3?
Big changes, no. StarCraft 2.
Except for the removal of all hacks and other bad things. That's a big
yes.
change.
As long as I don't have a giant CGI person staring at me as soon as I enter, like StarCraft 2, I'll be pretty happy.
As far as paid stuff, I really think that paid features, they could do a lot of stuff with that. Maybe have a secure website that you go through and you play your game, so you are 100% guaranteed not to have hacking and not to have dupes and not to have all that other stuff.
Well, they guarantee that otherwise, but it doesn't always happen, of course.
Yes, they do.
Well, what if they had hacks on your guaranteed no hacks? Did you get a refund or what? Does Bobby Kotick commit seppuku?
He should commit it anyway, but after his performance in that movie.
In the Moneyball trailer?
Yes.
My eyes bled a little bit when I saw that.
He looked just like him, didn't it? His little beady eyes were staring. We're not the Yankees. We don't have that kind of money. Okay. This will be linked to from the Diablo podcast post, by the way. There's an actor in the new Moneyball trailer who looks very much like Bobby Kotick.
Yep. And
possibly is, for all we know.
I actually read a report that it is him.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Great.
Well, there's one movie I'm not watching. Okay. So we're kind of skipping around here, but we're thinking that Battle.net for Diablo 3 will not be paid to begin with. It'll be you'll be able to get on there and play and do arenas and do normal gameplay and have guild support and all this cool stuff, at least if you're in the U.S. or Europe, and it's not going to be any extra monthly fees or bonus coverage or anything.
Yeah,
either you guys disagree with that?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yes.
That's the way it's going to be.
That's the way it should be.
I long thought, since they first announced D3 and they kept mentioning all these, we haven't decided on our, whenever anyone would ask them, what are you going to do for Battle.net, they'd say, well, we haven't decided on our financial model yet. It's still open for debate. Which, please. I mean, they had that stuff, charted and graphed out 10 years ago, probably. It's whatever the market will bear is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But I really thought that we would get, it'll be kind of equivalent to like closed Battle.net for D2. The closed realms characters. Like that would cost you, $3 a month or whatever for D3. And maybe you'd get, more characters per account, you'd get a bigger stash, you'd get access to guild features, et cetera, et cetera. I thought they would have like 2 tiers. They have kind of the minimal tier where you can play it, but it's not all the special bells and whistles. And if you want that, it's going to cost you like $5 a month. But apparently not. Apparently I was very wrong, and I've taken Bobby's eyes in vain.
But it may turn into that to the future, because look what they did with, Elite for Call of Duty.
Yeah, yeah. Blizzard has been fighting this stuff off as far as we know. We think that Activision would want to monetize everything. I mean, that's what, listen to any one of those conference calls and Bobby spends 5 minutes talking about how they're trying to get, new income streams and new revenue from internet subscribers and all this stuff.
I think the one thing that I would really appreciate if they actually went and did a paid model subscription is for the option just to not have to play with kids, just to be able to play with adults that don't use profanity every 5 seconds.
Well, how do you screen that, though?
I think, well, first off, you'd have to be over the age of 18 to be part of the paid subscription, because you have to use a credit card or something like that.
Well, you need a credit card to play WoW in the U.S. mostly, and I don't think that keeps the kids off, does it?
Yeah, but well, you can go and buy them time from the store. So as long as you have money, you could just pay for it that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on, every 13-year-old would get their dad's credit card to subscribe to the service.
It would just, I think it would though limit the amount of juveniles you'd have on.
So you pay to avoid children, basically.
I would pay to avoid children.
But what percent of our listening audience you've just alienated?
Yeah.
They don't listen to this anyway. They're all watching Lady Gaga videos or something else that I can say that's entirely inaccurate and will horribly date myself. They're all watching Justin Bieber videos. You're a young guy, DM. Do you like Justin Bieber?
Oh God, no.
I'm guessing no. Yeah, your picture doesn't quite have the same hairstyles. So, but we think they'll probably have, multiple, they being Blizzard, will have multiple streams of income and revenue and different styles around the world. They'll have the whole thing where Asian players pay by the month or whatever, like they do for StarCraft 2.
Well, they have to do that for places like China and places like Russia, where they would just steal the game if it wasn't free to them.
And Blizzard has obviously made big efforts to stop stealing the game in one way by removing LAN support in StarCraft 2 and Diablo 3. So if you want to play multiplayer, you have to go through Battle.net, and obviously you need a valid CD key to do that.
Yep.
Any complaints about that? Will you miss LAN parties?
Not me.
I played quite a bit of LAN when I was growing up, and but
on Blizzard games or other stuff?
On Diablo 2.
And was it more fun having the people in the same room to shout at than being on Battle.net?
A little bit, but that was back in the day, but online has its perks instead of LAN. Don't have to worry about lag or nothing.
I think nowadays, since online is getting a lot better, is the fact that you can have still kind of like a simulated LAN party with, you can have people still in the same room if you really wanted to and all do it over the internet and still have the same amount of speed.
Oh yeah.
I guess there's enough, most people have broadband, or at least a lot of people have broadband, and there's enough, the uptime on Battle.net's pretty good. There's not, huge realm outages. Of course, the first 3 months of Diablo 2, you really couldn't play it over Battle.net at all, because they sold so many more copies than they expected, apparently. It was just untenable lag, and they were just scrambling to get up new servers.
You would hope that by now they've learned their lesson after WoW, that they would have everything ready for more than what they projected.
Did you play WoW from the very beginning?
I played WoW about 2 months after it was released, so I kind of missed most of the chaos that it started out as
Yeah, because it was a disaster initially, right, in terms of accessibility.
Oh yeah, you'd be in queue forever, and you'd get dropped out of the game all of a sudden, then have to wait in line again for hours to get back in it.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Well, what do you want for $15 a month?
Yeah.
I think every MMO is like you have to have a horrible, disastrous launch to be an MMO. It seems like.
I think. Well, also they just really were not expecting a massive amount of people that were going to be playing the game. They were joking and say, "Hey, this is going to sell like 1 million copies," and they were all laughing like, "Yeah, that's not going to happen. We'll be lucky if it sells a couple of 100,000." And then in like the first month it was 1 million people on.
And then everybody on there plays much longer than they expected.
Exactly.
So that's what they said about Diablo II was the problem, because they didn't exceed their sales expectations by vast amounts. Everybody was playing 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
They thought you'd play 1 hour a day or something.
I really think they're going to more exceed their expectations with Diablo than they do with other games because of the fact that it is free to play after you buy it, of course.
But we don't know what their expectations are. They might expect 6 million copies in a month or something.
They might. Who knows?
They're a lot more experienced gaming company now as compared to when Diablo 2 came out when they released WoW.
Yeah. I've been told by Blizzard people sort of jokingly that they didn't even have a customer service department until World of Warcraft. They had like 3 people that sort of went to conventions.
It's Steve, Bob, and Joe. They were the guys.
Pretty much. And then once things got bigger and more organized, and they need millions of community managers and online support people and such.
I read a report one time that said that I think it's like 50% of what people pay for WoW it goes to server upkeep and community support. And
golden ashtrays for Bobby Kotick.
Exactly.
Which he lights with $100 bills. Well, he doesn't light his ashtrays. It's funny you mentioned the LAN stuff, because I just recently moved to Portland like 3 weeks ago. Well, not really actually Portland, but I'm near Portland, Oregon. And I made a brief mention of that in one of the news posts, and somebody sent me a PM saying, welcome to Portland. We're going to do LAN play in D3 once the game's out. You want to come over to my house and do it? I'm like, that was kind of cool. Just some listener, some reader of the site. So, as you say, LANs can still exist. I guess if you have a cable modem and you've got a good enough upload speed, you can have 4 or 6 people in the same house or the same room.
Exactly. I mean, if you got enough college kids and they all pay a little bit for the internet, you could probably get yourself like I don't even know if T1 is the fastest now, if it's even faster than cable. I think cable is pretty much comparable to it. But
yeah, I had to sign up for Comcast again when I moved here, actually, and they have a more expensive package. For like $20 more a month, you get a higher bandwidth, you get a higher throughput, or so they claim.
Yeah. You can even get, I think Time Warner's got that business class. It's pretty expensive, but it's stupidly fast.
Yeah. People that host, have big website hosting and stuff. Like we have some gigantic bandwidth package with IncGamers. That's obviously not helping me because I don't live where the servers are, but there's ways to buy much more stuff. And I think it was kind of the same thing at last BlizzCon where you had, everybody's playing in groups on these servers. It's kind of a LAN setup there actually when you're waiting in line to play Diablo 3. And of course it was, I think more fun than a LAN would be arena duels in the same room. You could like shout at each other and throw Cheetos and stuff when someone kills you.
That'd be bad because I end up throwing something like hard.
If somebody nukes you like 9 times in a row, they could get kind of ugly. I guess you can switch teams around enough. It wouldn't be too bad. But
college drinking games with Diablo 3 arena.
Like Exile talked about that in the PvP BlizzCon podcast we did. And he posted that picture. He and 2 of his friends played like 20 games of the arena. And like their last game of the day, they beat some guys 23-0. And the guys were getting pissed. One guy just like quit and walked away in the middle of the game apparently. And one of Exile's friends was like talking shit the whole time and like, yeah, suck on that fireball, yeah. At BlizzCon, I'm like, that's kind of uncool, dude.
Yeah.
You guys have probably never played the game in their lives. They never played on a team together. And you guys are this well-oiled machine.
He's lucky it wasn't someone else that would have gotten up and just slammed his face into the keyboard or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever had any fights in the demo areas, but that could probably happen. But
that'd be funny.
But yeah, I think a LAN party in arena would really be fun, even if you just had 2 versus 2 or whatever. So back to the paid feature stuff. We were wondering how it could be done, what they could sell. They have a few sales things in WoW. I mean, we talked about this a little bit on the previous podcast. We just recorded actually, but you can buy special mounts, which aren't any better than the mounts you get in the game, but for $25 it's got like different graphics.
I can see them doing stuff like that for dyes and stuff.
And they have the paid realm transfers, and they have, like you were saying, the $3 a month for you can access the auction house and stuff via your phone. So it's not, I guess kind of accessing your phone, accessing your auction house via your phone is a little bit of a competitive advantage. Just in terms of you can do more auctions more quickly, but it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. It's not like you're buying a wind force or something.
Yeah, as long as when you pay for stuff, it doesn't give you an advantage, for the people that don't pay, I'm alright with it. That much of an unfair advantage for people that can't pay for it is just not right. And I think Blizzard knows this too. I mean, WoW's got the mounts that don't really add anything. And StarCraft has maps that people make, and they sell them, but it's not required for the campaign or the ladder.
And they give out these perks when, like in BlizzCon goodie bags, they give all these pets for World of Warcraft. Obviously, the pets are a whole other issue. I don't see how that really translates to Diablo III. Vanity pets, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But they also sell those via the BlizzCon store, and sometimes they do it with, like, they claim it's a charity thing. Half the price goes to cure breast cancer or the common cold or whatever.
Actually, a lot of those ones that they had 100% of the earnings were going to charity and stuff. They've had ones that were purely income for themselves, but they've had ones that were 100% charity as well.
Can you envision any Diablo III equivalent of a World of Warcraft pet?
I don't know.
Something they could give you as a perk and a style. Obviously, like armor dies.
Yeah, armor dies is really the only thing I can really think of off the top of my head.
Or maybe the BattleNet interface, like how you show up in BattleNet.
Yeah, pictures.
There.
Yeah, they could sell, items that would make you look different, but wouldn't actually add any stats or something like that. Otherwise, you're getting into, real money trading, and that's what we're all not very fond of in Diablo and Blizzard games, anyway.
Yeah, like I think you guys touched upon it in one of the other podcasts, a dye that actually changed the entire look of the armor into something else.
Yeah, or made you look like a vampire or something.
Yeah, that could be stuff that they could sell if they wanted to.
And you sound like you're very against real money stuff, DM.
Yeah.
Have you played World of Warcraft at all?
No.
Have you played any other MMOs?
No.
So you've never really played a game. I guess Diablo 2 has item sales, but it's a bigger deal in most MMOs.
Yeah, well, my thing is with, at least in Diablo 2, with the item sales, that really helped to break the economy in Diablo 2. People go out and spend a couple $100 or more and have a fully geared character, level 90 something, ready to go within an hour.
But so they weren't buying that from Blizzard, which would have been creating the items from thin air. They were buying items that someone else had already found and would have been used by someone.
Yeah.
So it was just a reallocation of items, right?
Well, I didn't know how they got them. I was just.
Yeah, there was duping obviously too, which is a problem.
Yeah.
How much time do you have to play Diablo 3, DM, if it came out, in next month?
Next month? Most of the day and some of the night.
So you have, a fair amount of time. You're not married and having kids and stuff yet. You're still pretty young.
Yes.
What about someone who is, 45 and loves Diablo and has a wife and 3 kids and a full-time job and can play an hour a day? Should they be able to, do you understand why they might want to spend $50 and buy some better equipment and make their character experience more fun?
I can see that.
But you don't like it?
Yeah. Kind of.
But you can understand how someone would feel if they just simply don't have the time to play it, and all the really cool stuff is in the end game. Maybe they really want, like in Diablo 3, you've had all this stuff. They've talked about the end game features and special quests and arena and stuff. That it might be really, really much more fun once you get to level 60 and can do this special stuff. And if it takes if it takes some guy who's really busy with his life, 2 months to get there, he'd be like, this is bullshit. I want to just, I make enough in an hour at work to buy this character or buy a level up service. And obviously this is all prohibited by Blizzard and we're not, recommending it, but I'm just trying to play devil's advocate a little here.
Yeah, I understand. Like,
but you don't like it.
yeah. Well,
What do you think, Eliminator?
I could see the people's request for something like that, but I think it kind of just diminishes the game itself and how people would look at it, because they'd be just like, well, if I can just buy it, then why can't I do the same thing? I'm in the
like
same
a moral
boat.
issue.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's very moral issued.
Moralistic of you, anyway.
Yes.
One other issue on that you don't see in other MMOs, it's not World of Warcraft, is hardcore. Can you imagine a higher demand for hardcore items or for hardcore leveling services, given how hard it is to level up a character without dying?
I could definitely see something like that, or just even trying to buy their character back from death.
I think they said that they're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's obviously, I'm sure Bobby Kodak's eyes got the size of pie plates when he heard that concept, but I mean, if you could pay $20 or $50 or whatever to get your dead HC character back, that could be like, oh my god.
Well, you told some stories, Flux, about some of the characters that you built that you made one little mistake and lost a high-level hardcore character. Would you have even...
That's pretty much how it goes.
Would you have even thought about the idea of probably buying the guy back if that happened to you?
Probably not. Not once I was more established at it. Some of the early ones... I mean, sometimes you're just if you're really starting off in hardcore and like everything you have is on one character, including hopes and dreams, as well as items and armor, yeah. And then if that one dies, you're just like devastated. I mean, like that was every good item you had, and especially if it's kind of funny if you die, if you're careless or if you just do something stupid, or you got too close to an MSLE boss or something, you kind of like, well, I deserve it, But the ones that really pissed you off is when it was lag or, if something out of your control happened.
Mm-hmm.
And those you're almost like, well, it's not cheating because it wasn't my fault that it died, so I should be able to spend $10 and get them back to life.
Yeah.
It wasn't an option, obviously, but I mean, that seems like more acceptable to my mindset anyway.
When I was thinking about the graveyard feature that I thought would be pretty cool if they added to the hardcore mode would be if they had some sort of way to rob the grave of the former dead character and get some of the items back.
Yeah, sometimes it's the items you miss more than the characters, because I mean, it wasn't that hard to build a new character in D2. But if you lost the items were gone forever, so it was like, yeesh.
Well, I think that's the big thing about Diablo is the fact that, characters, the level is easy. The item is the true goal. Well, I think that we go back to the paid features is just what they could really have in a paid feature if they were going to do that, having maybe a guild house, if they really wanted to do guild support and you had a paid feature for it and you allowed people to have guild houses and all the guild support of that and maybe some stat tracking too they could have, because that wouldn't really affect the majority of players, but it would be interesting to see maybe really the nitty-gritty of the critical chances and what gear does what and stuff and what you've past worn and what that did and all your changes to the character that you've done. Maybe compare those changes to what your current character is if you were wearing the current gear you're wearing. Like stats like that would be interesting to have for a paid feature.
Yeah, that's evil. Because I would love the stats.
Yeah, I'd like them too. I'd like to see how many little Fallens I'd beat up.
Yeah, like the monster counter in Diablo 1 was fun.
You see, that's why it's kind of devious if they actually went and did it, because a lot of us would probably be very tempted to do at least some of the paid featured options if they had such a robust features.
Yeah, just adding more stats and stuff. That's, as you say, that's not really cheating. It doesn't give you an advantage so much. I guess you can maybe analyze your play, and kind of get like sabermetrics on it. Figure out what you were doing and what you were doing wrong, and people keep these counts. I did 1,000 Countess runs, and here's what I got, that kind of thing. But if you could automate that and do that with actual statistics in game, it'd be like, ooh.
Yeah, like even if they keep track of every single drop that you had, and you could sit there and sort them.
Oh yeah, whatever.
What would you pay a month for that?
I don't know. I think it'd probably maybe about $5. I don't think that'd be asking too much for 5 plus the other things too. I'm not looking. If it was just the stats, it would have to be a little bit less than that. But if it was Guild House and playing with adults and me and playing with adults, I just hate those damn kids.
A lot of adults are assholes too, you realize?
Yes, I do.
So, I mean, it sounds like you would pay like a better friends list. You could actually ban people. Like you would never see this person in your game, that kind of thing.
That would be
but
nice.
Then, of course, you have to do it one at a time. Then you can't just do it by everyone, by age or whatever.
Maybe you could. Maybe that was that part of the feature.
You could ban everyone from New York City from your games. Ban by IP number. There's no equivalent of pets. That's the biggest thing in World of Warcraft that they sell, and they give them away at all these, BlizzCon and such. And they don't actually do anything to help your character. What if they had like a different God, I almost said artisan again. A different artisan. Or I said that in the previous podcast too, and someone pointed it out.
That would be me.
No, it was like 10 minutes. It was an hour ago when you weren't even on yet. It was.
That's what you meant in previous one.
I think it was 9ball that pointed it out.
Yeah, immediately too. Like the word, I wasn't even the next syllable yet. He's like artisan.
Yeah, I wanted to say bread maker after you had finished, but he just completely butted in and got the artisan out.
The funny thing is I spell it that way half the time too when I'm typing it on the website. Like the followers, like you can get a really cool looking follower. It's the same thing as the regular followers, but it looks like the Angel of Death or something.
No, yeah. But you have to be on single player and on normal to use it.
Yeah, that's the problem. Or we also don't know anything about how our characters will look on Battle.net, the actual interface or anything.
Yeah.
And we're assuming there'll be some vision of our avatar visible. They've said that hardcore characters will look really cool on Battle.net and be, visible and different. So maybe there could be stuff there, or you could have a little pet on Battle.net that would show up or something. I mean, who knows?
That could be interesting. Like the avatar for your character, they could sell if they want to do microtransactions type stuff.
Yeah, new hairstyles and purple hair and stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't see our hair because we have hats on all the time. But so, do you actually expect any of this stuff in the game Eliminator? I mean, certainly it seems like at least the stuff that's in WoW in terms of paying for realm transfers and paying for iPhone trading access.
Honestly, I don't think they'll probably do it, but it'd be interesting if they did some of them.
What do you think, DM?
I would like not to see anything, but it's just because I'm old school like that. But I don't know. I really don't know what they'll do, to be honest. It depends on how influential Bobby is. I'm not going to give him a price range of how much I'm going to pay. I want him to perk up in bed right now.
He'll throw the whores out of the way and get right to his computer. Trip over a bag of cocaine on the way and be ready to roll.
Take off that ugly shirt on. He had it in the video trailer.
Watch his Moneyball trailer again. Maybe some editing in this portion of the show.
I could see him just sitting there watching his video over and over again.
His 1 second. We're not the Yankees. We're not the Yankees. We're not the Yankees. That's all he can say. That can't really be him, man. Seriously.
It is. It's him. I'm saying.
Oh man.
Maybe they financed it.
You never know.
I mean, maybe Activision. I mean, we had that thing in the news. They were trying to buy MySpace, like his investment group, not actually Activision. But
well, it's like product placement, in movies. Maybe Bobby paid them money to put him in there, and they have
Bobby paid money.
Yeah.
Every time they show the outfield wall in the game, you see Call of Duty on it or something.
Exactly. Yeah, just like that. If you ever watch a movie and you see them like pick up a can of soda, and they make sure they plainly show the label, Yeah.
And they hold it in some weird way, like they're holding a mouse sometimes, like to get the whole label visible.
Yeah.
I just saw some movie like 2 days ago, and I remember I just kept seeing they had about 50 ads for the same kind of soda in it. I can't remember what the soda was or the movie, so I guess the ad didn't work. If you don't remember it, it's a fail.
It's like a lot of TV shows. I don't know if you ever watched Fringe. Every single car that's in that game is a Ford.
Yeah, there's often. That was fun.
A show.
That was what I thought was funny. The first Transformers movie. Every car was like a plastic Dodge that was brand new. You know, like the plastic Dodge pickup, or I don't even know, maybe it was GM, I don't remember, but they were like all the brand new versions of whatever the.
It'd have to be Dodge, considering the fact that Bumblebee was Chevy.
Shouldn't Bumblebee be a VW, by the way? It just seems like it should have been.
That was a big outcry when the movie first came out.
Yeah, I just remember they were. I had a lot of outcries about Transformers 1 actually, but it was just like these robots from Alpha Centauri, and they all look like Ford pickups. It's like, wait, what? And they know how to break dance. It's like, what? But yeah, anyway.
And they're gonna rap.
So, any final thoughts on the paid feature stuff, guys?
But not really. I mean,
you just don't want it.
I just don't want it.
That seems to be DM's theme for most of this stuff. I don't want it. Just wait until you're as old as us, and then you'll be saying something different.
I hate kids.
On your third wife
Exactly.
and your seventh dog.
That's right. Saying you hate kids and you wish you could buy armor sets.
Okay, guys. Thanks for a scattered and random podcast.
Thank you.
And this has been recording for 34 minutes, and it'll be about a 7-minute podcast when I'm done editing it.
You could squeeze it right into the other one.
All right, guys. Thanks for your time. And we've got everyone just say goodbye, then I'll end recording.
Okay, cool.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, moo.